Hello, everyone. Welcome to session two on Tableau training for Hadaba 2025. Today's session is going a little further in details about Tableau. As you can see, last week we discussed about how to get what is Tableau, why Tableau is important for Hadaba 2025, and then we looked into how to download Tableau from the website and how to install it on your computer on your PC. In the last part of in the last part of session one was we talked about how to get data when the data is in a CSV format and how to create a very basic visualization chart out of it. Then in the activity, you are supposed to get the data from a link provided in the PowerPoint, which was linked to World Bank data. And there you have to choose a country of your choice, or maybe more than one country. The policy the policy, the data about the policy that you're interested about, and then the time series for how long time frame you want the data for. So you had to export that from World Bank and then import it into Tableau as an activity and then show what you could do with the visualization. So today in session two, we will be talking more about, if you can see on my screen, yes, we will go to visualization again. We will at least do two different types of visualization. Why we are going to go with the two different visualizations so that I can give you a flavor of the dashboard today as well. So dashboard is a collection of all the different visualization analysis you have done, and you want to bring them together in a one place to go for all your visualization analysis together in one page. Think of it as a poster for your project. You had different parts in your project or research where you want to talk about the introduction, about the abstract, about the research questions, the methodologies, the analysis, the data, and the conclusion. So that is the dashboard for you in Tableau, so that once you create multiple visualization, how you're going to combine those visualization together to form a dashboard. Before we jump into the PowerPoint slides and then to the Tableau hands-on activity, I would like to also address one concern here that you will be informed by your professors or by the Hadaba team already that you will have two assessments in this Hadaba 2025 from Tableau point of view, depending which course you're taking. So you might be having one assessment, which is to create a visualization on Tableau, which is individual activity. Then you might have also a dashboard assessment in your course, which means you will have to create multiple visualization and then bring that visualization together into one dashboard. And that's a group activity. So you could be either doing one of the assessments or you could be doing both of the assessment depending on what course you're taking and how is Tableau connected to that course. So if you haven't seen the assessments yet, so I'm going to give you a little idea in the assignment one, which is to create basic visualization. So you will be given this whole assessment, which I created from your professor, which will have a background on the topic you're choosing and the data set linked with it. And the basic idea of the task is to select this is specifically related to welfare of family and children, but there will be there will be different assignments for different courses that you're taking, and you have to select the data, visualize it, apply some filters, which we didn't study yet, but the deliverables will be a nice Tableau dashboard with at least three visualization and a bit of analysis as well. However, if your course is related to assignment four, that in your course, you are going to deliver a dashboard on policy. So it will be building an interactive visualization platform for evidence-informed decisions in which you will be having 3 or 4 different group members, and each one will have their role, and you are going to present visualizations, and a dashboard at the end. So these are the assessments which will be given to you from your professors. And if you have any questions about them, you can reach out to them. And if you want to have any question about the technical part of it from Tableau point of view, you can always reach out to me. So let's begin. All right, so let's begin the session breakdown. So objectives today is to connecting the data. So now today I want to give you a little flavor on a different type of source of data. So last time we looked at the CSV format. Today I will give you an overview how to get the data from Microsoft Access. And for this purpose, the data I'll be using in the demo session will be shared with you on Teams and will be shared by your professors on LMS as well. So you can just download it or copy it to your computer and PC, and then you'll be able to load it into Tableau. So it's about Northwind data. Second objective for today's session is to give you more foundations on how to build visualization and what are the different components of visualization in general in Tableau. And then the third objective of this session is to bringing everything, which means bringing both visualization that we will create to form a dashboard and how to modify the dashboard with different properties and different components assigned to it. Then interactive activities it does include with hands-on Tableau lesson. It's a recorded session today, so you'll be watching the session at home by yourself on your personal time. So you will just follow the demo activity with the hands-on activity, and then you can discuss with your classmates, or you can come on Saturday live session to discuss any questions or concerns that you have. The learning material, as I said, I'm going to give you the sample policy dataset from Microsoft Access that will be uploaded with this video on Microsoft Teams channel. The Tableau software that you're going to use, or the desktop version if you're on Mac, and Tableau community resources and tutorials that I provided the link in the last week. All right, so the task assigned today is for this week is completing the activity from the video session that I'm recording, applying the learning to the data set downloaded from Kaggle. So that's the last part of the session today that I will show you a very well resource on internet, how to get any kind of data which are open source, download for free, and you can use it for your analysis. So Kaggle is the name of the website where all the different sort of data sets are uploaded by people, by organization, which are open source to use. then self-reflecting on the training session as well, and preparing questions for the Saturday live session. So again, whenever you're watching this video and doing this activity on your Tableau, just make questions or write down the question and concerns and queries that you have if you don't understand any part technically as well. And then when we meet on Saturday live session, you can reach out to me and we can address those concerns and questions. So let's jump into. So last week, if you can see, last week I shared for you guys samples data about Superstore sales. So this is the Tableau. I'm gonna give you. I will be showing this in Tableau as well, but just to give you a little idea, in a PowerPoint first. So this is the data source view. So when you get the data from the different sources, whether you're using Microsoft Excel, CSV, Access, SQL, SQL, databases, cloud. So when you get the data and data is loaded into Tableau, this is what we called is a data source view. And here you need to understand a little literacy of the data source view on Tableau. So if you look at this section here on the left side, which I marked as A, this is called the left pane. This is in the data source. We are not going into the sheets yet. So let me actually show you the Tableau, and you will be able to see the Tableau directly, what I'm referring to. So all you need to do is just search Tableau on your computer. So let's say we can open the demo session 1. And now if you see on the left side, this is what you see. I see here is the data source on the left. These were the different sheets we created, but this is the data source that I'm referring to, this on the left side. So this is called the data source view, where you can see the data you have loaded previously. And if there was the data, you can see a summary of it as well. If you want to move the data around, you can play with this here. And this is basically the data source view. So what I'm referring in this PowerPoint is that once you open the data source view, the left side you see is called left pane. So I have labeled it to be A. A means it's a left pane. And what does the left pane do? It will give you the display details about your data, that what are the different columns in the data, or if the data comes from a database, what are the different tables in the data. And in general, all the columns and headers of the data will be provided to you in this section. This is called left pane of the data source view. If you look at the B section, B is like relationship canvas. Now, once you get the data, I'll show you in the next session, not today, how to build relationship within the data. So this is most probably useful when you want to get data from two different sources or more than two different sources. You have two different Excel files or two different CSV files, and you want to merge them together. And once you merge them together, how do you want to link those files into each other? And we call them joins. How you want to join the two tables together or two source of data together. And we will be learning about joins theoretically today, and practically I'll show you example. And then in session 3, we will do a complete example on how to use joins, because they are very important. Let's say you want to analyze data geographically. The project I did very recently was how to map out all the tennis courts in Qatar, Doha. So for that, I need to get the data in a CSV or Excel format about the information on all the tennis courts. And again, I also need a geographical data file where I can see the map of Qatar and Doha specifically. So if you want to merge them together, the geographical file, and which I call GIS file, a global information system file, and the data file about tennis courts in Qatar. So if I want to merge them, so how are we going to merge these two? Because they are two different forms of data. So joins are used in that case. So we will have a complete session on that joins next week, but today I'll give you a little idea about them in the PowerPoints as well. So this is what we call the canvas, where we can see the joins of relationships, how they're linked together. The section C that you can see here, apart from coming out of the canvas of B, is the joins canvas. So how we will join those columns together, and I'll show you a demo today as well. The D section is called the data grid, which I just showed you on the Tableau, is where the data you can see or access in the beginning part of it. And part E is the metadata grid. So metadata means the data about the data. So you can see what are the different data types. If you're familiar with the data types, like if you talk about names, the names usually are nouns and characters. So we call them string data type. But if you're talking about phone number or money, and these are all numerical data types, quantitative. So the metadata will give you idea about that as well. So to give you again the look of it in the Tableau, I'll go back to Tableau, and now you see here is that this was the left pane, this was the relationship canvas, but if I double click it, this will take me to see the relationship. Now I didn't have any relationship because I only have one data file in the previous example. Now this is known as the metadata I referred to you, and this is the data grid where you can see the basics of the data that you have loaded, that like a view of it. What is this data about and what does it suggest? So this is what we call as the data source view of Tableau. This is just give you a little hint on how to understand the theory and how to link the theory with the practical part. So when you look at the layers in the relationship, we have two kinds of layers. One is called logical layer and one is called physical layer. Now, at this stage, you don't need to worry much about it. And if you don't understand in the first go, don't worry. You can always reach out to me on Saturday and I can explain again. But the only difference between the two types of layers is that the logical layer is the default view of data source. So if I go back and I show you earlier how the data source was connected, Tableau gonna take some time. This is what we called is the logical layer. So what you see is you don't know anything about relationship, even though there are no relationship in this data, but this is like the general view of it. But if I click on it, it will give me this kind of a different canvas option. And if I had any joins here, I'll be seeing those joins here together. So this one is known as the physical layer. And the first one I show you is the logical layer. You can combine data by using relationships and through joins, which we will study later. Now, coming to the sheet view. So sheet view is this view. Like we created some sheets last week, but let's say I open an empty sheet here. So what are the different components? Now, this is why I'm going back to it, because I felt after watching the video, there was a bit of the background knowledge missing, I think, on how things were done in session one. So if you did that downloading and installing part successfully, that's still a good achievement from session one. So I just wanted to create this screenshot with some data so you can understand what these different components of Tableau is. When I was a student myself, uh, and the professor who was teaching this course was very quick with the different components of Tableau. So most of my classmates and myself had difficulty understanding all the different components of Tableau. After working professionally with Tableau for a while, then we got the better understanding of it. So I'm going to present this slide based on my learning and my experience. So if you look at the top left corner, this is what we called is the workbook name. Workbook name means what is the file name of your Tableau for the current analysis, something very similar to most of the softwares that we use in day-to-day life. Now, this is very important. If you look at this B section area, like this part of area, this area is known as the cards and shelf. These will be very important because if you understand what filters are in data or any data visualization tool, so filters help you to filter out data that you are interested in with respect to the overall data that you have. So cards and shelves are very important, and we will be discussing this today as well. So this area is known as the cards and shelf area. Now, the part C that you see is very similar to all the softwares you see here. These are known as the toolbar. So all the different tools that we have in Tableau, we will be able to find it here, and we most of them may be like the format one, the windows, the help, the file. These are very much common to any other software or apps you're using on computer or your PC. Now, the most important is that this region is called, labeled it to be letter D, is the view. The view means the canvas. So if for a painter, how important the canvas is, that's something as important for us in Tableau visualization is because all the play area happens here. All the charts you get, all the analysis you do will be displayed here. So this is our canvas, and we call it the view where all the visualization, we call it the viz. Viz means visualization. So the visualization will be displayed here. Now, if you move on to, let's say, this section, which is called E, is takes you back to the start page. So we hardly use it because we have toggles at the bottom, so we can use them easily. Now, if you look at letter F, it's a sidebar. Sidebar means that you can contain the data pane and analytics. Now, analytics we will not use by now because we are not going to jump to analytics quickly because that's going to be a bit too much and overwhelming for you at this stage of Tableau training. But anyway, the data information and then the analytics. So if you have understanding of analytics a little bit, I can example, the easy example will be regression analysis. So if you want to perform any of the data analytics in your analysis, like regression, classification, and it goes to machine learning. So Tableau gives you a predefined functionality in the software as well, but we will not be looking at it today. Okay, so let's look at the G section is what we discussed last week is here you can actually toggle between multiple visualization sheets together. There will be a dashboard that we will create here. So I'll go through that option as well, a story map, which we're not going today, but you will be studying story maps as well. And the data source. So if you want to go back to data from the visualization, you can just click here and it will go back there. So it's called the data source tab. Now, this is the status bar, which like means how many rows and columns you have in the data. And this one is the sheets tab, which is multiple sheets. So if you want to toggle between sheets, different sheets, visualization, dashboard, and story map. Last week we created two visualizations. So you had no, sorry. Last week we had only created one visualization, and you had only one sheet. But today we will move on to create two visualization and one dashboard. So you will have multiple tabs over there, so we can toggle between them, and you will get you will get more practice on Sheets tab as well. So this is just a basic terminologies that we use in Tableau, and I will just show you in the Tableau itself. So if you look at in the Tableau, let me take the zoom up. So if I go to the sheet tabs, this is where the data is and the analytics is where I was telling you. So if you are good with modeling, how to do trend line forecasting, cluster regression, box plot, everything will be predefined for you. But again, it's too early for that in this course. The data tab will give you all the different columns and rows and different features in the data that you have with the data, the type of data it has as well. So you can see when the map and when the globe is drawn, it means it's talking about some sort of like geographical data. ABC means it's just a character data, qualitative data, and you will find numbers as well in here. These are called as measures. So measure in Tableau is actually any quantitative or any numerical column in the data will be called a measure. So in this data of global store, you will have columns like if I go to data source, let's say you can find order date, ship date, something more row ID, and something getting sales, quantity, discount, profit. So all these will be here in measures because measures are known as the numerical columns in the data. So they will be written all together and it is represented by the pound key or the hashtag, as we say in day-to-day words. So this is what the data pane is. You have the way this where we start the start page. We can go back here. You have the tools, you have the canvas, you have the marks and shelves, you have a data source, and these are the sheets tab. So this is the practical demonstration of the sheet view that I have just explained a few minutes ago. Now, let's move to the most important, as I said, the B section, which is the marks and cards section. So, what is the marks card? What are these cards? So, you look at the marks here, and you will find this in the Tableau over here. So, this region is the marks, and it has a lot of different types of visualization marks here that you can represent. Now, what are these things and why they are important? So, Tableau displays data using marks. So, if the data you want to classify based on colors, you're going to use colors for that. If you want a tooltip means like I can bring a cursor in your chart and graph or dashboard. And once you bring the cursor on some data, it can pop up some details about the data, that specific data point. We call them tooltip if you want to create. You can create label for just text labels, text data there. Detail is where you can write as many detail as you want for each point on the graph. Shape means if you want to further classify the data points based on different shapes like triangles, polygons, rectangle, and square. So what are the marks card? These are displayed data using marks, and every mark corresponds to like a specific row or more than one row in the data source. And for row, we also use the terminologies as observations or transactions. Sorry. So if you hear these words, that means I'm talking about the row specifically. Now, as you see, we have these six different marks and sheets. Now, why I'm going to spend some time on it? Because I want you to get the theory behind it so that once you have the theoretical understanding, when I apply it in a practical demo, it is much easier for you to understand. So, what are these six different marks? So, color, again, if you want to update the marks with the color you use, so you can just drag. So, again, these six I'll be using in the demo. And if you, while we are using in the demo, you have like any difficulty understanding it or questions it, so you can again like access this PowerPoint that will be uploaded with session two, or you can come back to this video and just move through this, and you'll find the details of each of those marks. Again, if you still have questions after PowerPoint reading and the video, you can always welcome on Saturday for a live session, so you can address these questions there. So these are the marks card for you. Now we will be moving further with Tableau paradigm. So Tableau paradigm is actually the connection between the data source and the Tableau itself. So this is known as a Tableau paradigm. So when you have the data source, you get the aggregated results out of the data source. So how we can use the VisQL so that it can translate our actions, and how we can use the drag and drop feature to query our data and find the analysis of it. So VisQL actually stands for Visual Query Language. So that's it's a backend language written by programmers for the Tableau. So again, I'm not going to go in detail because it's a bit technical, so we don't need to study more time on this part as well. And for Tableau joins, I'll get back to the joins after um, showing you demo. So let's go on to demo. And then once we reach to the demo part, I'll come back to the joins when there is a need for explanation, and then I'll explain the joins. So let's begin Tableau. Okay, so I need to close the Tableau and create a new file for Tableau. So all you need to do is search for Tableau in your PC, and it will open the Tableau for you. Now, this is something we have done previously. So if you have done the session one with demo activity and exercise activity, you might see here two files. So today I'm going to use the data source as Microsoft Access, which is different than CSV. So for this purpose, I'm going to click on Microsoft Access. When I click here, you need to locate the access file. So this access file will be given to you on Teams. So you need to download it in your computer in the session 2 folder in Tableau Training, and you can locate it by using the browse option. So I will just go quickly and pick it up. So you will find the access as North Wind. So the file access file name is North Wind in the Teams channel that you need to download. No need to do any other buttons and just click open. So this is the data source. Now, once you import Access, the difference in the Access file is that in Access, you will have a database of multiple files. So in the CSV, we had only one table, or in Excel, you might have one table. So you can just import the data and you will see the data here. Here in Access, it's like a bundle of files and a bundle of tables. So you have to see which of these you are going to use for your analysis. So for this understanding on this demo lesson, I will be just going through very few of the sheet, and then all right. So once you use the Microsoft Access to get the Northwind file, so you will be able to see all the different data that is part of the Northwind in itself. So let's say we drag our first table, which is called orders table. So I'll just drag and drop here and I'll get the order. So this is what we called earlier the different types of layers. If you remember, we discussed two layers. One is logical, one is physical. So this is the logical layer we are currently displaying. Okay. In the logical layer, layer is the problem is that if I want to get data from multiple columns, multiple tables together, let's say I want to get order details extended. So if I drag and drop that one, it will be giving me an error is that this data source uses a connection that doesn't support multiple logical tables. So in the logical layer, you cannot create more than one. So how do you tackle that? So as I said, we have two layers, logical and physical. So how do you go from logical to physical? You can bring your mouse here and double click on it. Once you double click on it, you will be coming in a physical layer now. So this is known as the physical layer. Here you can combine data between tables and using joins here. So again, which was it? Order details extended. So if I drag and drop now, you can see it work now. It's combined the two data tables together, and you can see that in this format here. Now, you will be able to see a kind of a diagram here between two different circles, and the inside area is shaded. Now, once you're trying to connect two sources of data like tables together, so in this case, when you combine them together, so that addition or combination works through join principle. Now, what is join? You might have studied this in math or any of the mathematics or statistical courses, even in grade, like in high school math, they teach you what are joins in mathematics. So these are the different types of joins that we have. We have a left join, we have a right join, we have an inner join. Inner join is very identical to what you see here. And the fourth type of join is the full outer join. Now I'll give you a little explanation of it in easy words that if you want to combine two tables together and you want to fetch the data, complete data from the first table and only those rows for which the columns are combined in the second table. So this is known as a left join, which means give me the whole data of A, but only that data of B, which is same as A. So we can use left join in that case. Right join is used the other way if you want to take the whole data of table B and only want to take those rows of table A where the columns are mutually inclusive. Inner join is the most common one because you don't want to find the repetition of the columns and the rows together. So you have table A and table B. Give me those rows for which we have same columns only. So you will get the combined matching columns here. And if you are not interested on filtering out the data, you can just combine both of them together and you get the complete rows from A and B with combination, duplicates, everything. Then we can use full outer join in that case. So if you go back to our physical layer, you can see I drag and drop let me show you again. So if you have by mistake drag and drop a wrong column, you can bring it back like this. And if you have the order column, you can also bring it back like this. My mouse is stuck. Okay, so this is how you can do the join. So again, I have drag and drop orders, and now I want to drag and drop. The second one was orders details extended. I need to just bring it here, and by default, it found some common columns, and it gives me the uh, join here, inner join. So if you want to convert the joins here, you can toggle between the joins together by double clicking in it and specify which what will be the pivot. Pivot will be for the join means what will be the common column in both data that you want to find the connection in the join together. So you can change those up to you which column of the data you want to use for the join. Now, because today we're going to make more visualization analysis here, so I'll just get some more data. So let's get some data about customers. I'm going to get that in this format. And let's choose sales analysis. So we can get one more on sales analysis. So now what you see here is I have gathered data from 4 different tables. First table is orders, second table is customers, third table is order details extended, and the last one is sales analysis. So the data that I have now is in this format. So you can see the data over here, which will have customer data, which will have sales analysis, which will have order details and the orders themselves. So this is how we can use to get the data into our Tableau data source. This is our data source view. So once you complete here, we will move to the next spot. All right, so let's move to the next part of this session. So, what we have done so far, we have learned how to get the data in the different form. This is the logical layer, and then it's the physical layer, and how we have imported the data from 4 different tables. Now we will be moving on to our sheets of visualization. So what's something we discussed last week briefly. Today we will go in more detail. So here we will be creating our first visualization. Then that will be known as sheet 1, and we will rename that sheet 1 to the type of analysis and the visualization we want to do. So, okay, so you will see on the data pan all the data columns that we have from all the 4 different data sources. In the analytics, as I said, you can only apply analytics once we have the data in the canvas. So we don't have any data, we cannot use it like hidden right now. So we will just start something basic now, and we can get with the orders that the initial source of data we had, and I'll just get the order date for me, and I'll bring it to columns. So when you bring the order date here, by default, it can get the measurement in the form of year, but if you want to convert the order date to any other format, you can just click here and choose from this menu or you can code there if you have a little understanding of the basic coding. So you can just choose whatever time format is perfect and suitable for you. If you want to look at the order detail, it's called order date column. So order date column has this format in the actual data with the year, month, date, time as well. So you can go back instead of seeing what you see by default as the year only, you can change that. And we will change that. I'll show you, I will change it in the second one once we have the second visualization. Now, here we have a lot of data in orders, but I want to show you a bit of geographical data because in this Hadaba 2025, our one objective is to combine and compare and contrast different policies that has been implemented geographically in different locations. So you will come across the data that is geographically dependent. And for that, I have to use, let's say, shipping state or province. So I can just get it. Now you will be able to see that you got the data from the shipping state and province for rows observations, and you also got the columns with the order date. But the data you see here is more of a tabular data. So for that, we have on the right side, show me option. Show me option means you can change the charts type and visualization depending what kind of data you have. So this data is talking about geographical, and that's why I picked it up. So I can have either map here or a filled map here. So let me start with the map first. So if I click on it, the part we will be going to create our first visualization. So we can actually combine different columns to see how we can map them together on the map geographical location as well. So we will just pick order date for now in our columns. And when you drag and drop the order date, so you can see that you can change the type of the format of the date from clicking on this nibble and change into different format, whether you choose the year, the quarter, the month, and even based on minutes, hour, and second. You can actually see in the data source about the order date original format, and that was the year, month, date, time as well. So you can change that for your analysis as well. Now, what I'm trying to do is I want to see the order date based on the map values. So as in your analysis, you're going to do a compare and contrast analysis of different policies that has been implemented in different countries and how to analyze that together. So here I have selected the same data. So here I have the column, which is shipping country and shipping state. So I can combine them on the map. So you can see how you will do visualization when geographical data is involved here. So I'll just go on and choose for me the ship country, and I bring it to my rows and ship country. will give me only USA data. So what I can do is I have a state and a province data as well. So I'll also bring that into the rows for the given order date. Now you'll see that the canvas by default give you a data that is not very friendly to read. So we have on the right side, if you click on show me, multiple marks as well and sheets. So I'll just go on to click on this one is called field map. So I'll just click on the field map and you will be able to see that the data has been now plotted as a map for you here. So you will be able to see that the map, and now the filled position means that these are the data that we have from these different provinces and or states in USA for which we have the data for the order dates. So this is what we called as analysis on the map based on the data. So if I choose here, you can see this is Nevada province state. And if I go here, when constant data, if I go here is Colorado, I think Colorado, and here you will find the data here as well. These are the different tooltips for the data itself. So this is what we called a very brief first visualization. And by default, they are known as sheet one and here sheet one as well. So what we're going to do is we can rename them as double click on sheet one. So we will get this, just select all this together and we can rename this analysis as uh, order dates by state. So we can actually make some designing with it, put the second, make it a bold, change if you want to change the font and the size and orientation. I want to put it in the middle. If you want to highlight it, you can highlight it as well. But again, different colors, if you want to choose different colors. So you can do as you feel like and apply and okay. So you will be seeing that order dates by state is done here. So I'll just keep it as black. And that's how you will see the heading title of this visualization. And here in sheet one, because when you are toggling between multiple sheets, eventually you will have, so you don't need to keep them as sheet one, sheet two, sheet 10, sheet 20. You can just rename as well. So order date by state. So when I'm going to refer to this visualization in my dashboard, I can just rename it to, I can just reflect on the order date by sales rather than looking at sheet one, sheet two, and sheet three. So this is our first visualization. And now we will move on to our second visualization in a minute. All right, so we in the first visualization, we have combined the order date and the column coming from the shipping country, which is USA, and the shipping state. You can even rename it to make it more shorter. So you can say order map if you want to make it as simple as you can, but if you want to keep it detailed, that's completely up to you. Now, if you want to create second sheet in the same Tableau, so what you can do is you can see on the sheet uh, tabs here, you will find new worksheet, new dashboard, and new story. Now we are going towards new worksheet, new visualization. So click on it and it will change to sheet two. So here I just wanted to give you, like last week we had discussed word map and a bit of graphs. So today we have looked at how to do mapping, how to analyze data on the map geographically. And second is a bit of like graph from statistical point of view. So you can see some numerical data as well and see trends going on. So again, we will just go on to the same column of the order date that we have chosen previously. And I told you earlier that you can change the order If it's just a year, you can, because if in this case, if you have to do sales based on just 1 year, so it will just pick 2006 for you. But instead of 2006, I want to analyze the sales based on the day itself. So I'll just choose here from this option as exact date or day. So I just choose exact date of that sales event. And for my rows, I can look for numerical data. And I told you earlier, we have these called measures. Measures. You can see measure names. So measures in this area, you will find all the columns that are numerical in nature, all quantitative data that you have. So I want to just explain the sales based on the order date. So I'm going to pick the sales, bring it to my rows. So now you will be able to see a very well nicely done graph, which will explain to you the sales and the order dates together. So if I just want to go on March 7, this is 10th March, actually, March 6th. So if I click on March 6th, I will be able to see the sales on that day is 8,008. So you can actually click on these different data points that you have in your analysis sheet, and you can pick any date you want and see the sales for it. Now, if I want to do the sum of sales, like if I want to give you a little idea of the marks, how they're important. So if I bring the sales onto color, so you will be able to see the color is now shifted based on the intensity of the value. So you can see that color is taken the value, and you can change that if you want to change by applying different filters, or changing the format of different color if you want, and so on and so forth. So I would suggest not to like make more changes in the properties. You are definitely welcome to play around it, but just to not change any properties because it's a recorded session and I cannot help provide support right now. But again, if you have any question, you can ask on Saturday in our live session. So this is what we did as our sheet two, and this is our sales analysis. So I will rename it to sales per order date. And again, I can just make it bold, make it in the center, change the font if you want, and apply, and OK. So we chose here as a make it consistent with all the themes and all the fonts and everything. Okay, so this is what we call sales per order date, and you can rename this sheet as sales by date. So now what we have done so far, we have created two visualization, one for the order map to give you a flavor of how to do geographical data on Tableau. Second one is more of a numerical in nature, how to do this numerically on it. Now you must have seen the mock, so you can play with it if you further want, like sales on the tooltip. And in the tooltip, if you create, you have to add different. Now we don't have any measures here as we did not create any aggregated function for ourselves. So again, I will not recommend doing the tooltip for now. But in the next session, I can definitely create a demo activity where we can use multiple mocks together and you can get understanding of each and every mocks that you have in your analysis. So now we have created two sheets and I think we are ready to move on to creating our first basic dashboard by combining these two data together, two visualization together. Again, I can also recommend here to create a sheet three if you are fancy about it, and just pick any other column and you can see what kind of analysis you'll get. So this is not planned, and you can just pick on, let's say you have some analysis you want to do is Let's say you want to get the product in your column and you want to see the sales for each product. Okay, you will get a nice looking uh, histogram as a bar chart because it's a product. So it's a qualitative data, and you can see how the sales for each product has been done. Now, you can do this with different coloring if you want. And in this case, you will see that the tags have been made horizontal here, or you can do on size as well. So you can change the size if you want for your analysis, but it doesn't suit very well here. We can try with details, but again, we don't want to provide any details. So this is just a nice chart for you, sheet 3, where we can see sales per product. And here we can say sales per product. Okay, so now we have got three different visualization and we can easily combine them to make a well, now, okay, let me show in this case, I can change this to different sheets actually. So you can create a box plot, but box plot is here going to be one. Pie chart is not going to be decent here. I think bar chart is the best for us here, or you can change it to make it tilted. Yeah, it's better, I think. Okay, so this one will give you sales per product, and you can see different products that you have and the sales for each of them. So if I want to bring product ID on the tooltip, so you can see product IDs doesn't well look good because of the type of data in the product ID. But I can see what I can do with the product name and the product. It's the same product name and the product is actually the same column, so it will not make any difference. Okay, you can change the color if you want. That will fit well with the rest. Okay, so now we have three visualization and we will create a dashboard. So for dashboard, let me do it again if you missed it. So you have always three choices, options to either create a new sheet, a new dashboard, or a new story. So I'll just choose dashboard here. So you will see a dashboard is created for you over here, and you will see the size is quite small. So you can just click automatic. It will create a bigger dashboard for you to size fit in if you want automatic. You can also create the layout for phone if you want, but again, we're using PC, so you have to see the automatic version of it. On the top left corner, you will see here is called Show Dashboard Title. So I'm just gonna click it and I'll get this option as a dashboard. Double click on it, so you will see what will be the name of this dashboard. So I just want to create a simple title order analysis by product and location, which is state. Let's call it state. So we can you can use the data and we can do that. So order analysis per product and US state, because we have three different sort of visualization here. So we can use them and get a nice dashboard out of it. So now here to create a dashboard, you don't have to create the visualization because the visualization will come from the existing work you have done here, so that you will see that three of them we can find here. All we need to do is just click on it. So the first one will pop up here, and the second one pop up will here, and the third one will pop up here. So you can see that all three of them have been created here for you in a nice dashboard. But if you want to change the layout of it, so you can change it. For now, we are not changing the background or anything. But again, if you want to make it floating, so on the left corner bottom, you can click on floating and you can change it as you feel to move around this here or there. It can be easily moved around. So you can look which one is the best for you, and you can keep that like that. So this will be making it floating, and with the floating, you can choose the background color, and for the sheet, you can change this. Control Z if you made a mistake by any chance, and that will be your basic. Today, I'm not gonna go in all details about dashboard because that's something a whole lesson on how to make it beautiful. But today is just to give you a flavor of the dashboard. Now you can choose some filters here. So if you are interested in filtering the data, you can go in this option over here. Sorry, not the container, but the data here. You will find a filter option that's open. So now if I go to, let's say, uh, Orlando. So when I click on Orlando, I'll get the data according to that. So when I click on Orlando filter, so it will give me the sales per order date for Orlando specifically and the sales per product for Orlando itself. This is what we call as an interactive live dashboards, which will be eventually required in this Hadaba 2025 when you do on policy argumentation and policy making. But that's why it is very important. And if I click California, the data will change for California right away. Tennessee will give me the data for Tennessee. If I have a data about Florida, it will give me the data about Florida as it is. So this is what we called as an interactive dashboard by applying different kind of filters that you have. And if you want to filter this one, and you want to filter, let's say, crab meat, or let's say something more curry sauce. So if you want to analyze data by curry sauce, it will give you the data for that province and state as well, and sales per order date, how many it's going up trendward. So this is just a get an idea of how the filters work and how this visualization actually helps you to work on multiple visualization to get the dashboard. You can also rename the dashboard as instead of one, because when you are going to do your final project, group project, there will be a requirement of creating multiple dashboards. You can make a data story map out of it. So you have to rename the dashboards as well. So I'll just do order analysis. And that will be a good dashboard for now, a brief dashboard. And now when you reach to, let's say, the end of this demo activity, the most important thing is how to save your file. Now, I did a mistake by not telling you at the beginning of this activity to save the Tableau file. But even though if you remember at the later stage or in the middle, try to save it, because if the PC runs out of the battery, laptop, or power goes out, tablet shut down for some unknown reason, you lose the data. So for that purpose, once you completed it, you can go to File, and here you will have multiple options, and you can click Save As. Once you click Save As, you can go to your folder that you have created for this training sessions, and I'll just go to session 2, and here you can just call it session 2 Tableau work. And here you don't need to click workbook, but instead you have to create Tableau packaged workbook, which is TWBX, so that later on when we create the dashboard live, we can upload it to our um, uh, online source server, and then anyone can access your analysis, and it will be a good packaged workbook for us. So all you need to do is just click save, and that will save your work for today. That will be completing your session 2 demo activity for now. You can go back to your session 2 and you will be able to find that there, and it's stored here, session 2 Tableau work for you. So that will complete our demo activity for today in session 2. So this video will be provided with the link on Teams channel. Now for the practice activity, I'll just recommend again to use the same link. Go on the same link as you have been using previously in the last week. And this time try to choose different countries and try to use different features, variables for your analysis and different time frames. You can get a different data set. And once you get the different data set, download it, open it again in your Tableau as CSV file, or if you download it as an Excel file, and show me any two visualization and a small dashboard. You can do like 3 visualizations and one dashboard, mini dashboard, and you can show me on Saturday if you have done by then, or you can reach out to me on WhatsApp anytime. So that will finish our session 2. I thank you for your time. And if there are any questions, mistakes, errors that happened during this video, you can feel free to reach out to me and we can further discuss that. So again, thank you so much for your time and all the very best for this week activity, the practice activity demo, and I'll see you on Saturday, inshallah. Take care and bye bye.